Ready? Okay. Good evening, residents of Everett, Washington. I would like to call to order the Everett City Council meeting of April 16th, 2025. For more information on council meetings and also how to participate either live or by Zoom, please visit our website at everettwa.gov/city council. For the record, Councilmember Fossey will be attending remotely. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Franklin. Here. Vice President Zarlingo.
Here.
Councilmember Fossey.
Here.
Councilmember Bader.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Councilmember Vogely.
Excused?
Councilmember Tui.
Here.
President Schwab.
Here. At this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Bader to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Ryan to lead us in the land acknowledgement.
The City Council wishes to acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Shtohopes people, and their successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, gathered on, and taken care of these lands and waters. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and waters. We will strive to be honest about our past mistakes to bring about a future that includes their voices, their stories, and their people to form a more just and equitable society.
Thank you very much. Now into old business. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for April 9th, 2025?
Councilmember Ryan so moves.
Second.
Motion second's been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Fossey.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening, council and community. It's great to see so many folks here in council chambers this evening. Thanks for joining us. I just had a couple of announcements or thank yous. First, the Went Awards, Wenton Mayor's Arts Awards were last week, and I want to thank our team, our staff team, for putting on such a fabulous event. They did just a really good job. It's always wonderful to hear the inspiring stories about our local art community and art supporters. A couple of folks I wanted to shout out. Leland Dart got the Artist Making an Impact Award. He's been taking pictures of our first responders for some time and the work that they're doing, and just thought that was a neat award. And obviously I want to congratulate former Councilmember Brenda Stonecipher on winning the Richard and Nancy Wendt Award of Excellence. It was very well deserved. And then today I had the opportunity to participate in the Congressman Larson roundtable on transportation and infrastructure. He's doing a number of these to inform him and his committee on our priorities. And so I was honored to join my fellow city mayors and talk about our city's priorities. I highlighted the Maryland Ring Creek Bridge Project, the Edgewater Bridge Project, the importance of the Vision Zero. We have the funding for the planning, but we don't have the funding for the implementation. And so I stress the importance of that, and just really grateful for his leadership in transportation infrastructure. And I have no further comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to public comments, which includes written comments acknowledgement. Under our rules, written comments shall be considered in the same manner as oral comments. The person submitting comments shall provide their name and city of residence. Written comments require this to be made part of the official council record. I will start off with, good evening, Angie. And can we start off with written comments? Could you report on those?
We have received no written comments.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on to public comment. And we have some members of the public who would like to participate in Spanish. Connect Casino has a certified professional interpreter who will be translating into English. So I would like to welcome them up, and we're going to start off with 3 English speakers.
Yes.
And then 3 Spanish speakers. So I'll let you call them up, Angie. Thank you.
Okay, so if Alvaro could please come to the podium. And please hit the button on the base of the mic and state your full name, city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Mayor Franklin, council members, my name is Alvaro Guillen. I'm the director of Connect Casino Road, and I have been working in Everett for 20 years. I live in Montlake Terrace, but I have been working here for 20 years. Our organization works with Casino Road families with the goal of achieving upward mobility and exit poverty for all. I'm here today because I'm concerned about the Casino Road residents that the 26 service providers co-located at our community center work with. Residents tell us that when they complain to landlords about their apartment conditions, like rats or mold, for example, they are told to go somewhere else if they don't like it there. But unfortunately, they can't find another place to live for the same rent in the neighborhood anymore. If there were any, the cost to move out would be around $6,000, simply impossible for them to afford. There is an urgent need for permanently affordable housing in the neighborhood. I trust Mayor Franklin's commitment expressed on a letter she sent me 2 years ago, and most recently, a few weeks ago, when we met at our center, to preserve the net number of homes and level affordability of housing in Casino Road. We call on the city of Everett to implement anti-displacement and affordable housing strategies in our neighborhood to ensure the protection of our community members. We ask you to listen to the community and adopt all the recommendations included in LISC's proposal, particularly adopt anti-displacement policies as a priority in housing goals, adopt anti-displacement designations, and adopt inclusionary zoning. We know that racial injustice doesn't happen naturally, but rather because of conscious decisions like the decision that you are about to make on the comprehensive plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, if Esmeralda could please come to the podium. And state your full name and city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Mayor Casey Franklin and council members, my name is Esmeralda Rivas. I've been a proud resident of the city of Everett for 20 years. For the past 2 years, I've worked at as a family developmental coordinator at Connect Casino Road, where I've had the opportunity to work closely with more than 70 families in our community. Throughout my work, I've seen firsthand the incredible, difficult choices families are forced to make every month, deciding between buying groceries and paying rent. Now, these are not families who are unemployed. In many cases, both parents are working full-time jobs and still they struggle to cover the cost of housing. Some of the families I work with are living 5 to 1 room-bedroom apartment. They choose these overcrowded living conditions not because they want to, but because the alternative is even worse, becoming homeless. They make unimaginable sacrifices to ensure they don't lose the roof over their head. They stretch every dollar, cut back on essentials, and live with constant stress and uncertainty. I could share countless stories of the strength and resilience I've seen every day. Families doing everything right and still falling behind simply because the cost of housing is too high. These are hardworking, caring members of the community who deserve better. I ask you to listen to our community and adopt all the recommendations included in LISC proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Melinda, if you could please come to the podium. And state your full name and city of residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Sure. Good evening, everyone, council members and mayor. My name is Melinda Cervantes, and I've lived in South Everett's Westmore Ave neighborhood for over 10 years. I am part of a vibrant multicultural community, and through my work in the nonprofit sector, I become a proud community ally. After becoming a mom and during career transitions after the pandemic, the village in Casino Road became a safe space for me, a place where I reconnected with my community. There, I found people who speak the language I grew up with, share my values and culture, the same culture I want my daughter to grow up with and appreciate. I participated in workshops offered by the Village and Connect Casino Road that support entrepreneurs, families, and empower parenting. And through that experience, I became a volunteer. These opportunities have allowed me to truly get to know my neighbors and understand the challenges they face every day. I'm here today because I'm deeply concerned about the future of low-income families throughout our city, especially in South Everett. It breaks my heart to see many being displaced, losing not only a roof over their heads, but also their community, their support network, and their stability. These are hardworking, responsible families doing everything they can to give their children a better future. Some of them I even have the pleasure to call friends. I grew up in a low-income household when I was a kid, and I know from experience how much a stable and safe home can change a child's life. I often see myself in those children. I know the impact a home has on their development, their education, their emotional health, and the mental well-being of their parents. When a family has a secure place to live, the entire community grows stronger. That's why I kindly ask you to recognize the urgent need to invest in affordable housing. You have the power to be champions of opportunity for the next generation and improve the quality of life of many people. Investing in their families is investing in the future of our entire city. Thank you for your time and listening to our voices. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Interpreter Erica, if you could please come to the podium. And as we discussed, you'll ask each person to state their full name, city of residence, and they each have 3 minutes to speak.
Si puede decir su nombre completo, ciudad de residencia.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Mi nombre es Verónica Martínez Jiménez.
My name is Verónica Martínez Jiménez.
Vivo en Everett por 22 años.
I've been a resident of Everett for 22 years.
Por 18 años vivo en Canet Casino Road.
For 18 years, I lived on
Casino
Casino Road.
Okay. Señora alcaldesa, concejales.
Mayor, council members,
Mi temor, como la de muchos de mis vecinos, es ser desplazados.
my fear, like that of my neighbors, is being displaced.
Lamentablemente, los costos de vivienda son muy altos para nosotros.
Unfortunately, housing costs are too high for us.
Nuestra comunidad es muy trabajadora
Our community is very hardworking.
y por la economía y los altos costos de vivienda, tenemos que trabajar dobles turnos.
But due to the economy and a high cost of living, we have to work double shift just to cover our basic family needs,
Para poder cubrir las necesidades de nuestra familia.
to cover our basic family needs.
Con los nuevos proyectos, estamos en alto riesgo de tener que mudarnos.
With the new projects, we are at high risk of having to move away.
Lo más triste para nosotros y para nuestras familias es que han crecido, estudiado y yendo a programas juntos.
What's most saddening for our families is that we've grown up here. We've studied here and participated in programs together.
Tenemos vecinos con los que considero como mi familia
We have neighbors, which I consider family,
y están muy preocupados de qué pasará con nosotros, ya que tenemos negocios, escuelas cerca de nosotros.
and they are very worried about what will happen to us since we have businesses, schools, and services very close to us.
Mi familia y yo hemos tenido la oportunidad de ser parte de la villa comunitaria con el Casino Road.
My family and I have had the opportunity to be a part of Connect Casino Road community,
Y me encanta mi vecindario, aún con todos sus retos.
and I love my neighborhood, even with all its challenges.
Le solicito vivienda asequible, no solo para mí, sino para mis vecinos y mi comunidad.
I respectfully ask for affordable housing, not just for myself, but for my entire community and neighbors.
Muchas gracias por la oportunidad de escucharme
Thank you very much for the opportunity to hear me
y escuchar mi opinión.
and to listen to my opinion.
Gracias.
Thank you. su nombre completo, dónde reside.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Yajaira Ábalos y es un gusto saludarlos a todos.
Hello, good afternoon to all. My name is Yahaira Avalos, and it is a pleasure to greet you all.
El día de hoy vengo en nombre de una comunidad integrada principalmente por hispanos y otro tipo de razas culturales.
Today, I come in the name of a community made up mainly of Hispanics and other cultural groups.
Gente buena, gente trabajadora que lucha el día a día para darle sustento a sus familias.
Good, generous, hardworking people who struggle every day to provide for their families.
Hoy en día estas familias se encuentran con el riesgo de tener que desplazarse o sin ninguna otra alternativa vivir en sus automóviles en las calles.
Today, these families are faced with the risk of having to move or with no other alternative but to live in their cars or on the street.
Esto debido a la falta de viviendas accesibles.
This is due to the lack of accessible housing.
Podría relatarles muchos casos de familias afectadas, pero hay uno en específico que me impactó.
I could tell you many stories of affected families, but there's one that truly impacted me.
Se trata de un excompañero con el que tomaba clases de inglés en la villa en Casino.
It's about a former classmate from English classes I took at the village.
Él es un joven de apenas 20 años.
He is a young man of only 20 years.
Él es el hijo mayor de seis hermanos.
He is the oldest of 6 siblings.
Él vive con sus 2 padres,
He lives with both his parents,
más la hermana de su mamá,
plus his mom's sister,
su esposo y su bebé.
her husband, and children.
En total son 11 personas viviendo en un pequeño departamento de 2 recámaras y un baño.
In total, there's 11 people living in a small apartment, 2-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom.
Él me platicó que era tan pequeño el departamento que a él le tocaba dormir debajo de la mesa donde comían.
He told me the apartment was so small that he had to sleep under the table which they used to eat.
Y otro de sus hermanos más pequeños dormía en la tina del baño.
And another of his younger siblings slept in the bathtub.
Y aún así tenían que estirar los pocos ingresos que recibían para poder salir al mes.
And even then, they had to stretch the little income they brought home just to make it through the month.
Hoy en día todo es muy caro y tan solo empezar en subir el costo de vivienda sería lo equivalente a darles un balazo en el pie a estas familias.
Nowadays, everything is very expensive, and just thinking about raising the cost of housing for these families would be like shooting them in the foot.
Es una situación muy triste y es muy difícil no sentir empatía ante este tipo de situaciones.
It's a very sad situation, and it's hard not to feel empathy for these kinds of situations.
Por lo cual, el día de hoy les solicito con mucha humildad que consideren crear más viviendas accesibles para nuestras comunidades.
That is why today I humbly ask you to consider creating more affordable housing for our community.
La historia nos ha enseñado que para que una sociedad sea próspera, se fortalezca y sea productiva, tenemos que apoyar primero a las personas más vulnerables.
History has taught us that for a society to be prosperous and productive, we must first support the most vulnerable.
Agradezco mucho su atención.
Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Buenas tardes para todos los presentes.
Good afternoons to everyone present.
Vivo en la ciudad de Everett.
I live in the city of Everett.
Mi nombre es Giselaine León.
My name is Giselaine de León.
Soy residente de Casino Road,
I am a resident of Casino Road
miembro de la comunidad.
and member of the community.
Vivo en un apartamento asequible
I live in an affordable apartment
para personas de bajos ingresos.
for low-income people.
Vivo con mi esposo y mi niña de 3 años.
I live with my husband and my 3-year-old daughter.
Nuestra preocupación como familia
Our concern as a family
sería que aumentara la renta
is that rent may increase
y tendríamos que irnos a la calle,
and we would have to go out to the streets
ya que no contamos con los ingresos suficientes
because we do not have enough income
para poder pagar una renta de más valor.
to afford a higher rent.
Para nosotros ha sido una gran oportunidad
For us, this has been a great opportunity
poder haber adquirido un apartamento
to have acquired an apartment
de acuerdo a nuestras necesidades,
that matches our needs,
ya que por mucho tiempo
because for so long now,
vivimos con otras familias
we've lived with other families
por el costo excesivo de las rentas.
due to the excessive cost of rent.
Lo único que le pedimos con mucho respeto,
We respectfully ask
en nombre de todas las familias,
on behalf of all the families
es que nos tengan en cuenta
is that you keep us in mind
y que sea de beneficio para ustedes como para nosotros,
and that this be beneficial for both of us, you and us.
todo avance que se implementa a la comunidad.
And all advances that are made to our community.
Les pido viviendas asequibles permanentes.
We ask for permanent affordable housing.
Gracias por su atención
Thank you for your attention
y este tiempo de poder participar como comunidad.
and for the time for me to participate for the community.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Su nombre.
Agradezco la oportunidad de hablar.
I appreciate this opportunity to speak.
Mi nombre es Paula Sabogal.
My name is Paola Sabogal.
Soy residente de Casino Row.
I am a resident of Casino Road.
Vivo con mi esposo, mis 2 hijos y adicional con otra familia.
I live with my husband, my 2 children, and another family.
Actualmente asisto a las clases de inglés de la Villa de Casino.
I currently attend English classes at the Village on Casino Road.
He sido voluntaria del programa Kids Club conformado por las mamitas que están en las mismas clases.
I have volunteered in the Kids Club program made up of moms from those same classes.
Y soy partícipe de algunos otros programas de la Villa.
And I also participate in other programs at the Village.
Mi opinión acerca Mi opinión acerca del plan comprensivo de la ciudad
My opinion about the city's comprehensive plan
es algo que causa gran impacto a la comunidad,
is that it has a great impact,
positivos y negativos,
be it both positive and negative.
en lo cual traería una buena y nueva mirada hacia este lado de la ciudad.
One that would bring good and renewed energy to this part of the city.
Pero también preocupación por el aumento de los pagos,
But it also raises concerns about raising costs,
donde se ve una desigualdad
where we see where only landlords would benefit.
los propietarios serían los únicos beneficiados,
The landlords would be the only ones that would benefit.
pero nosotros los inquilinos
But us, as tenants,
enfrentamos aumentos en la renta,
would mean rising rent,
generando preocupación por posibles desplazamientos y quedar a la deriva.
generating worried about potential displacement and being left adrift.
En lo personal, somos 8 personas viviendo en un apartamento de 2 habitaciones y un baño.
Personally, we are 8 people living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment.
Los únicos que pueden trabajar son 2 adultos.
The only ones who are able to work are 2 adults.
Las mujeres somos amas de casa
The women are stay-at-home moms,
al cuidado de nuestros pequeños hijos.
taking care of our small children.
Y es muy difícil completar el dinero para el pago mes a mes.
It is very difficult to gather enough money to make the monthly payment month to month.
Le solicitamos formalmente
I formally asked for
programas de vivienda asequibles en el plan de la ciudad.
affordable housing programs included in the city's plan.
Disminución de los requisitos de accesibilidad para poder rentar,
Fewer accessibility requirements to be able to rent,
los cuales son infinitos.
as they are endless.
Subsidios y ayudas financieras.
Subsidized and financial aid.
Gracias, bendiciones.
Thank you, blessings.
Buenas tardes a todos.
¿Cuál es su nombre?
Silvia Mendoza.
Sí, tengo el usted, pero ok. Good afternoon to all.
Mi nombre es Silvia Mendoza.
My name is Silvia Mendoza.
Tengo 23 años viviendo en Everett, en la comunidad de Casino Row,
I've been living in Everett 23 years now on Everett Casino Road.
y estoy profundamente preocupada porque actualmente la renta está muy alta.
And I am deeply concerned because actually the rent is very high.
Cada vez somos menos las familias que podemos rentar apartamentos en el área.
Each day, there's fewer families that are able to rent apartments in the area.
Incluso algunos nos vemos obligados a compartir vivienda con otras familias.
Including some of us are faced to share our housing with other families
Para poder pagar la renta.
so that we can afford the rent.
A pesar de que todos tienen hasta 2 trabajos,
Despite the fact that many have 1 or 2 jobs, more than 2 jobs,
en algunos casos hay personas que tienen que moverse a otro lugar,
in some cases, there are people that have to move to a different place
a otro, o incluso hasta quedarse en la calle y vivir en su carro.
or even be living in the streets or staying in their cars.
Al salir de Casino Row, pierden la conexión con la comunidad
When they leave Casino Road, they lose the connection with the community
y con los servicios del centro comunitario La Villa.
and with the services for the community center, the village.
Para personas como yo que no manejamos,
For people like I that don't drive,
vivir en Casino Row es muy importante.
living on Casino Road is very important.
Aquí puedo caminar a los lugares que necesito,
Here I can walk to the places I need.
las escuelas, las tiendas para comprar comida
Schools, grocery stores,
y otros servicios esenciales.
and other essential services.
Si tuviera que mudarme a otra zona,
If I had to move to a different zone,
no podría ceder fácilmente a estas cosas.
I wouldn't be able to let go easily of these things.
Cambiar de comunidad sería muy difícil y me afectaría mucho.
Changing communities would be very difficult and would affect me greatly.
Por eso estoy aquí,
That's why I am here,
para pedir que se mejore nuestra comunidad,
to ask to better our community
sin que eso signifique el desplazamiento de quienes ya vivimos aquí.
with that meaning nobody will be displaced with where we live.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much. ¿Su nombre? ¿Cuál es su nombre?
Liliana. I'm too sure. Hola, buenas tardes, concejales.
Good afternoon, council members.
Mi nombre es Liliana Alfaro
My name is Liliana Alfaro,
y soy residente de South Casino
and I'm a resident of South Casino
desde hace más de 16
for
años.
more than 16 years.
Soy casada
I am married
y madre de 3 hermosos niños.
and mother of 3 beautiful children.
Mi hijo mayor tiene autismo,
My oldest son has autism,
entre otros problemas médicos.
among other medical problems.
No ha sido nada fácil lidiar con la situación de mi hijo
It hasn't been easy dealing with my son's situation
y además con todo lo que mi comunidad
and with everything around my community.
hemos estado batallando
We've been struggling
desde hace varios años.
for several years
Es con el alto costo de vivienda,
with the high cost of living,
comida
food,
y utilidades.
and utilities.
La comunidad de Casino somos trabajadores
The community at Casino are hard workers,
y nos gusta compartir y
and
ayudarnos.
we love to share and help each other.
A la vez es un lugar
At the same time, it's a place
donde todo es accesible.
where everything's accessible.
Supermarkets,
Supermarkets,
gas stations,
gas stations,
escuelas,
schools,
parques,
parks,
lo cual es muy bueno,
which is very good,
pero también es muy preocupante
but also very worrisome,
el alto costo de viviendas.
the high cost of living.
Les pido humildemente
I ask humbly
a cada uno de ustedes,
to each one of you
consideren
to consider
que haya más viviendas asequibles
that there be more affordable housing,
para así poder tener
so that this way
una mejor salud financiera
we can have a better financial health
sin temor a quedarnos sin un techo.
without the fear of losing our roofs.
Gracias por estar aquí.
Thank you for being here.
Next, if Lawrence could please come to the podium. Lawrence? And please state your full name and city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay. My name is Lawrence Eastlick. I live down by Silver Lake in South Everett. First, I'd like to say thank you to the council for listening to all these people's concern. I don't envy your task at all in dealing with everything they had to say. I would like to say affordable housing seems to be pretty difficult to define. There's been a lot of talking about that in the paper in the last few months, and I know you guys need to come up with some plans. But what I'm here for is I'm a resident of Silver Shores Mobile Home Park, and it's for seniors 55 and older, and a large majority of the residents there rely on just a Social Security check for their monthly income. That's not an enviable position to be in, but anyway, it barely covers the basic living expenses. So without a zoning overlay to protect us, we're worried that a developer could come in and buy our park and give the residents there like a 2-year notice to move out. We're talking about over 100 senior citizens who live there. They worked all their lives. They've raised their kids. They've paid into their taxes, and they've obeyed all the laws of our country, only to be threatened at this very last stage of their life. That seems unfair. With only Social Security as their only source of income, there are no other affordable options. We've checked into it. We don't want to be a burden to our grown kids, and many of us don't have any other options for support. So obviously, I'm here to ask you to address the zoning overlay just to protect us and several other mobile home parks. It's not just ours. So I implore the City Council and the Planning Commission to enact a zoning overlay to keep our mobile home park and several others in place to provide affordable housing for our senior citizens to live out their lives with dignity. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you. If Robin could please come to the podium. And please state your full name, city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Yeah, my name is Robin Olson. I'm actually Larry's neighbor. I live in South Everett. Thank you, council members. I just want to echo kind of what Larry said. We kind of wrote our little speech together. I just wanted to add to it. Zoning overlay is very important. What he said. Reason for the overlay, of course, is to make housing affordable for us. We can keep our homes, keep us in our home where we live. So please don't give in to lobbyists. I know developers will say, oh, you know, we need to do this to, they could come in and then give us 2 years notice to move out. They could bulldoze it over and put in condos or something. So it's just very important for us to go ahead and keep it as a mobile home park. As far as developers, I don't know whether they do it because of greed or inflation, but they can come in and just seem to take over and build something that's unaffordable. Seems to be a common theme about the folks on Casino Road as well, dealing with the same thing. So one of the reasons that the seniors are kind of concerned about this is that they'd like to make improvements to their home right now. Their mobile homes, they want to fix them up and do things to them, but our mobile home park is up for sale. There's 2 more bidders that are fighting over a price on it, and they're going to come in and probably raise the rent right away because that's what other mobile home parks have gone through. And then after that, who knows? I mean, they could give us that 2-year notice to move out, and that would be devastating to a lot of seniors, as he said, that they live on Social Security and they're barely making it as it is. So anyway, I just very much ask for your support, in a zoning overlay would be very important to us. Thank you so much.
Leanne, if you could please come to the podium. And state your full name and city of residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, my name is Leanne Rowe, and I am a resident of Everett, Washington. Honorable Mayor and City Council members, I am here to tell you what we are experiencing in the Madison neighborhood concerning the construction of two dados being built in the backyard of 6315 West Beach Street. These two-story structures are both well over 1,000 square feet, which is the maximum size allowed for a dadu. And that does not include the square footage of their one-car garages. In order to provide electrical power to these two backyard dadus, the original front house is doing what a utility pole typically would do. The meters are all placed on the front house with wiring being connected from the front house to each backyard dadu. Everything about these two backyard dadu constructions is patchwork. The neighborhood was never designed to handle the type of construction taking place on this one city lot. They are taking a simple developed residential city lot and creating a housing development out of it. We live here. This is our neighborhood. This is where we have invested in our home and our community. Destruction and downgrading of our community is personal to us. The developer doing this construction is not from this neighborhood, community, city of Everett, or even from Snohomish County. The developer of this project lives in a high-end, architecturally pleasing, over 4,000 square foot home with a wide view of the Puget Sound in King County's city of Shoreline. He would never build this type of structure in his own neighborhood, but he does not mind doing it here in Everett. On Beach Street, he found his gold mine, and he is actively mining it. On the original front Beach Street house, he has placed a large sign advertising his offering to create dadus on more properties. Recently, the developer obtained a certificate of formation with the state of Washington for a new limited liability company called Beach GJ Group LLC. Our community is very much under attack. David Koenig, when he was City of Everett's Long Range Planning Community Development Manager, during a presentation when Everett was given an All-American City Award, stated, "The city will do whatever is necessary to preserve the integrity of the neighborhood." We need your help to maintain the integrity of our community. It will be impossible to be thought of as a desirable place in which to live with these oddball structures, causing high-density problems with parking, lack of privacy, lack of security, unattractive housing, and lack of outdoor spaces. When is enough enough? When is it not good for our neighborhood? Is also not good. What is not good for our neighborhood is also not good for Everett. With all due respect, please stop being the patsies to the state legislature. We need you to protect and preserve the integrity of our neighborhoods now. Please say enough is enough. Please do not allow the destruction of our neighborhood by allowing construction that our individual properties
If you
were
could finish
never
up,
capable
if you
of
could finish up,
handling.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yep.
Linda, if you could please come to the podium. And state your full name and city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening. My name is Linda Warbonnet, and I've lived in Southwest Everett for over 20 years. I've served as a leader in the West Mount Holly Neighborhood Association since 2017, a paraeducator at Horizon Elementary on Casino Road, a Girls on the Run coach, and part of the original convening team that helped bring the community together to plan the village on Casino Road. I care deeply about this neighborhood. It's my home, and my heart is with my neighbors. With the light rail coming, I want to raise a flag. This investment cannot come at the cost of our community. We need strong anti-displacement policies now, because if we don't act, longtime residents will be pushed out before they ever get a chance to benefit from the changes.
I understand that the rent at Fairway Estates has gone up 95% already. That's our 55+ community that I had hoped to move my parents into. That kind of hike doesn't just make it hard, it makes it impossible for elders and working families to stay. I want my neighbors to benefit from the investment, not be displaced by it. There are good things here already, strong families, deep relationships, and a culture of resilience and care. These are worth preserving. As we build, let's build inclusion into the blueprint. That means requiring affordable units in new developments, supporting a mix of housing types, and ensuring that new homes are accessible to people of all income levels. We can welcome newcomers without losing those who've been here the longest. Finally, planning should not happen to us, it should happen with us. Let neighbors shape the future of District 4. We know this community best and we deserve a seat at the table. Thank you.
Joseph, please come to the podium. And state your full name and city of residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Yes, my name is Joseph Stremick. I am a resident of Everett for 23 years. Good evening, Mayor Franklin, members of the City Council, residents of Everett. A few weeks ago, I came before you to speak about the role of the city in an uncertain environment because of the recent changes at the federal level, which seems to be both overreaching and dismantling itself simultaneously. This evening, I wanted to focus my remarks on supporting the Everett Public Library. This is a place of knowledge, an invaluable resource for all of us, a place that is safe for children and families of all kinds, and it is a public center for all, where we are not expected to buy anything, the cafe notwithstanding. It is staffed by wonderfully caring and intelligent individuals. I would like to see the hours of the library expanded, at least to where they were last year. I would like to see more resources devoted to this mainstay of our city, especially in these turbulent times. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have other public commenters for when we reach item number 12 for the public hearing.
Thank you. And is our interpreter willing to?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So if our interpreter would like to come to the podium, that's okay. This is a time that the council members, we speak and make comments, not indirect, but just we make statements about what's going on. And it's, since we have you, it's an honor to have you here. And if you could maybe speak in Spanish, and then as council members, we'll speak in sentences with a break so you have an opportunity to repeat. So yeah, I really appreciate this opportunity. So I'll go ahead and start with Councilmember Zarlingo.
Well, with respect to the comments tonight, I want to say I thank you all for coming and commenting.
Con respecto a los comentarios que escuché hoy, les quiero agradecer a todos por comentar y venir hoy.
And I want to thank you for having the courage to come to an uncertain or a new environment to give us your input.
Y les quiero dar las gracias por tener la valentía de venir a un lugar donde no saben qué esperar y darnos sus opiniones.
Because I remember my first time and first times coming to talk to the council. So thank you.
Que yo me recuerdo que es mi primera vez a venir a hablar con ustedes y gracias.
Councilmember Bader.
Council President, I just want to clarify, this is our time for the usual time. For
Yeah.
Okay, great. Then I'm going to give my council report for library board liaison, which took place last night. There were just reporting, while we've cut hours, it's notable that visits at the South Everett branch have hardly dropped, even as visits at the North Everett downtown branch have dropped significantly. I just thought it was something worth passing on to you all. E-material use is climbing.
Could you take a break? We'd like to, all our fans to.
You take a break?
Yeah.
Thanks. E-material use is climbing. If we could, okay, thanks. They're out, the library is out for an RFP for a strategic plan. And we heard a briefing from the library director on their materials selection and how they go about selecting materials. Thanks.
Come back to you.
That's the end of my report.
Okay. And we can come back if there's something more specific for an audience. We can always do a round two. All right, go ahead. Use your best judgment.
Thank you. Gracias por venir esta noche y compartir sus historias. Tienes mi... Oh,
Thank you for coming.
Nice, nice. Thank you. Thank you for that.
That's like, tienes mi compromiso de luchar por una vivienda segura, digna.
You have my commitment to fight for a healthy. You have my commitment to fight for
Por una vivienda segura,
for a safe housing
digna y asequible para todos.
and accessible for all.
Gracias.
Thank you.
But I did want to thank everybody for their public comments tonight about housing. It really underscored the critical importance of anti-displacement policies in our community. And the zoning overlays are a component of that, but the regulations on ensuring rent increases aren't overly burdensome are also another key component of it. I will definitely keep everybody's stories in mind as we have our comp plan update later. Thank you.
Councilmember Fosse.
Thank you, President Schwab. I don't think I could say it much better than my colleague, Councilmember Ryan. So all I'll add is thank you, everyone, so much for coming and speaking.
Councilmember Mobley.
I commend all of you for being here tonight. It is difficult at best. Your stories are noteworthy and appreciated. And it really pinpoints when we have other folks like Chris Collier from the Affordable Housing Alliance. And I got that backwards, but don't worry. AHA. And hearing your stories helps us all to really understand just how bad it is for all of our residents. I would like to maybe hear some people that have different languages that come and speak to us too, because I mean, thank you. It's amazing. And I know you're not the only ones suffering. So thank you so much for being here. And un momento, por favor. Also, everybody else, I mean, I meant that for everyone. But I want to make sure that those who spoke in English that were not from Casino Road are also commended for being here. It's not easy.
También quiero comentar para los que no son parte de Casino Road estar aquí, porque no es fácil.
And thank you for bringing about the, speaking about the mobile home overlay. And it's difficult for not only renters, but homeowners. Gracias again.
Councilmember Tui.
Thank you. Well, I too want to thank all of you for coming tonight. Your stories were so touching and important. And we can't stress enough how important our homes are. And I hope we can do things that will help. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here tonight. Thank you.
Hello. My heart aches for your stories and mostly for your families, your kids. Your stories also give me hope. And we'll do our part. Yet the issue is very complicated. With the state and federal and other governments affecting our decisions. But we'll do our part in protecting you and representing you and your voice. So thank you. And Mayor, would you give you an opportunity?
Yeah, thank you. I also want to just say thank you so much to Alvaro and for arranging this and bringing everybody together to speak to us tonight. It is so very helpful when it comes to affordable housing to hear directly from the community that needs it. So thank you. As Alvaro shared, I will continue to be a voice and a champion for protecting affordability, the natural affordability that you already have. And creating more affordable housing for our community as we grow. In fact, I had a meeting just yesterday with Snohomish County Housing Authority. And we discussed the importance of protecting the affordable housing in Casino Road and increasing the affordable housing in Casino Road. And to our other speakers as well, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. I've been out to our mobile home communities and understand how important protecting the affordability there is as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to conducting the rest of our business. Thank you very much. All right, so we're moving on to administrative report.
I don't have anything to report.
Okay, I didn't forget you this time.
I apparently forgot myself, so.
And how about to our city attorney?
No report, no executive session.
Okay. And thank you very much. All right. We'll move forward with our consent items. We have 9 of them. Yes, go ahead.
I was wondering if I could finish my comment.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I just for the record, I did give you the option of
Thank you.
doing
It's
part
gonna
of
be
the
a long
comments for
translate.
later. So at this time, I'll allow any more council comments. So I'll start with Councilmember Zarlingo.
I'll do mine next week when we've got.
Okay, perfect. Councilmember Bader, I know okay. Councilmember Ryan, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, last Thursday I attended the Mayor's Arts Awards and the Went Tours, and it was a wonderful reminder of the incredible artistic energy that defines Everett. And another thankful reminder too of the foresight to implement the 1% funding for the arts back in, I think it was 1974. The talent and passion on display truly underscored how vital the arts are to our city's identity and well-being. And as the former liaison to the Arts Commission, I know how much hard work goes into evaluating and selecting the winners by our Arts Commission. So big thank you to our Arts Commission and also to city staff for their hard work to put the event on. And it was an inspiring event to reflect on all who have contributed to the arts in Everett, but I couldn't help but also worry about the future of arts initiatives because of the instability of funding for arts in Everett due to our ongoing structural budget deficit and the failure of Prop 1. As a result of that, funding for the arts has been compromised, and we see that through the decrease in available funding through LTAC and our Arts Commission grants. I'm very grateful to Mayor Franklin for her steadfast commitment to keeping as much funding as we can for arts and culture, even as we, even in the face of efforts to undermine efforts for staple funding for the arts. So thank you. Investing in arts is not a luxury, it's an investment in our community's future and is one of those areas that creates a multiplier effect for our city. So moving forward, I had asked that we would also keep funding for the arts in mind as a critical part of the larger picture of a better Everett. I also wanted to share that on Monday, I attended the Port Gardner Neighborhood Association meeting, and on Tuesday attended the Valley View meeting, and Mayor Franklin attended both as part of her annual tour of neighborhood associations. Chief DeRoos and Captain Getz shared more about the drone as a first responder program and answered questions from the community and had a great discussion about it as well. I also wanted to just kind of give people a heads up that this Saturday, there's a number of events across Everett, so it's going to be pretty busy, including a cleanup with Everett Station District Alliance starting at 9 a.m. down at the train station. Donuts will be provided. Sign waving along up and down Broadway all the way from 41st, I believe, up to the college, so please drive carefully. The Tax Day of Action rally at the courthouse hosted by our local carpenters with events also at the Labor Temple and a possible Game 6 for the Silver Tips. So go Tips. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Vogel, did you have additional comments?
Yes, thank you. It was brought to my attention earlier that we had a couple folks sitting outside. It was about the conditions of Compass Health, not what's going on within, but the building. And I know that he came and spoke last week. And had mentioned the timing of when things are going on. I'm not there, so I don't know if things are really starting at 5:30. But I would hope that we as city enforcement could make sure at least that those codes are being followed about when work starts. And then also from his stories, and again, I'm not that person, but I just want to see if there's, we don't own the building. We are not the ones doing the construction. It's not public works and all of that, I understand, but we, as a city, I believe that some folks here might be able to have words with the folks involved and possibly get something moving for the residents that are having to deal with all of the smells and sounds of being in such close proximity to a very large construction site. So I just wanted to put my personal support out there, and hopefully, I don't know, because he's been here a few times. I know it's going to be over soon, but I guess, asphalt is not a really great thing to breathe in. So I just wanted to say something about that. Thank you.
Okay.
And there's TAC tomorrow, 8:00, Cedar Building. That's Transportation Advisory Committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else? All right, so we'll move on to our consent items now. Items 1 through 9. Do I have a motion?
That's my ready to remove the consent items.
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Okay, motion and second's been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, now moving on to proposed action item. The next item has been read into the record, so does it, council have any questions or comments for item number 10? Okay, seeing none, our final reading will be on the 23rd. Okay, so we'll move on to our action item. Item number 11, Council Bill 2503-23, third and final reading, adopt an ordinance regarding expired wholesale sewage disposal contract, amending EMC 14.04.150. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve item 11.
Second the motion.
Okay, motion and second's been made. Is there any council comments or questions?
It's one of the more attractively titled items we vote on.
Yes, of course. Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, okay, now we'll open a public hearing and a briefing for the Everett 2044 comp plan. And we'll also be closing it. We'll ask for a motion to be closing it today also. So Jennifer, do we
We have a great presentation here from planning staff.
Fantastic.
And then maybe for the record, I think all of the folks that were interested in this item spoke at the beginning of the meeting. Oh, yeah, so we do have a couple more.
Yeah.
But I think it's just useful to note that because to ensure that the record reflects that those folks that spoke at the beginning are also included as part of this public hearing that you just opened.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Council President Schwab, council members, Mayor York Stevens Watch, the planning director. With me is Allison Wetzel, long range planning manager. Yeah, we will be providing a short briefing. Two mics, I'm a soft talker. Sorry. We're providing a short briefing on the Everett 2044 Comprehensive Plan and Development Regulation Periodic Update this evening. This is a once per decade state required update to the comprehensive plan, which is our 20-year vision and plan for the physical development of the city, and is expressed through a series of elements that include goals, policies, actions, maps, and more, and which guides our day-to-day decisions of the city, especially around development, housing, which you heard a lot about today, infrastructure, environmental protection, and a range of other topics. The development regulations are mostly found in Title 19 of Everett Municipal Code, and those implement the comprehensive plan and is what regulates and administers development, construction, and how we use buildings and land. We released a complete draft of both documents on April 7th and shared and posted them both on everettwa.gov/2044, which is the project website. They're in two separate books or PDFs, both of them about 150 pages, I think. Printed copies of each of these are available at both Everett public libraries, both the main branch and the Evergreen branch. We have a comment period on this draft through May 12th and are holding a public hearing today with the City Council and then one on May 6th with the Planning Commission, who will be making soon thereafter a recommendation to the City Council on the overall package. There will be more public hearings with both the Planning Commission and the Council coming after that. So we've got these two public hearings that are on this draft. We've been collecting feedback already, and we sent these two drafts to the state of Washington. Each of the state agencies starts with the Department of Commerce, and then others, ecology, transportation, health, and others all review both the draft comprehensive plan and development regulations. They have indicated that they'll get comments back to us. I think by now it's a couple of weeks. It was about a month that they would take. It's a 60-day official review period, but they thought they would get comments back in about half that time. We've also shared it with the Puget Sound Regional Council, which has a certification role with the comprehensive plan, specifically looking at the transportation related provisions of it. So we're collecting the comments that we've heard at this public hearing, at the one with the Planning Commission, written comments that we've received. We are compiling those and we'll provide a comment report to both the council and the Planning Commission in summary form, and all of the written comments that we've received throughout the history of these projects. And then we will turn all of that we've received on this draft into a final draft after May 12th, which is what will form the basis of two ordinances, one for the development regulations and one for the comprehensive plan, and then a resolution to declare this periodic update complete. You will see in this draft that the council direction from March 19th and March 26th has been incorporated. There was a lot going on those meetings, so I thought I would run through really quickly what those amendments, which were to an earlier, we called it the early council review draft package that was released in early February. Throughout this whole process, I think we'll call it three major drafts. There was the February early review package. There is this April complete review draft, and then there will be the final draft in late May, I believe. So the council direction from the early draft to this April draft included a revision to Mukilteo Boulevard east of Sound Avenue from UR4 to neighborhood residential. 6300 Glenwood Avenue went from MU4 or UR4 to MU7 or UR7. It's a split parcel with two different zones, even though it has the same address. We have the Everett Housing Authority owned portion of Wiggums Hollow Park plus Wiggums Park Place that staff had inadvertently put into a higher zoning category than it should have been. Thank you, Councilmember Fossey, for flagging that on, I think it was March 19th. Staff took a closer look, found that it was not part of the geography that would have triggered that increase to the UR7. So we reverted that to UR4. 2701 Hoyt Avenue was increased from MU15, mixed urban 15 floors, to MU25. We added a mobile home park policy. So we heard from the Silver Shores residents and Fairway Estates residents, and then there's some others as well. We started with a policy in the housing element, and that is in this review draft. We are continuing to work with a couple of council members on that package and how to turn that into actual regulations, a mobile home park overlay or other regulations to implement the policy that we have. We will see if we can get that done properly as part of this periodic update, but I think it may be a separate ordinance, which is, it doesn't need to have a long waiting period for that, but I'm just guessing that we may not be able to get this completely done. I would love to be proven wrong on that part. On March 26th, received direction on 2506 to 2606 Wetmore Avenue and moved that from UR7 to MU15. And then 19th Avenue Southeast, there were some properties on both sides of the road zoned MU15 or proposed for MU15 that were reduced to UR7. And then Bethany Northwest property, Lake Heights Drive, MU7? MU7, if I said something different. And then as a pair to that, Bethany Northwest, Lake Heights Drive, and the Waterford Apartments in a kind of a cluster next to Silver Lake went from UR4 to UR7. And then we have, so those were the council directions that we incorporated into this April 7th review draft. After we put pencils down on this draft, we've continued to have conversations with council members, and we have a couple of other amendments that we know will be proposed, and we're ready for that council discussion. I don't think that needs to be done tonight, although if the council wants to, we're ready for whatever. Those include a couple of map amendments that we're speaking with Councilmember Bader about. And then we had some discussion with a couple of council members over the last several meetings on the neighborhood commercial framework and the locations and whether arterials should be part of the eligibility for that. And then the mobile home park overlay zone and regulations. So these are the conversations or direction that we have received from the council so far. Everything is still written in pencil until we take the final vote. And so if we have missed anything so far, definitely let us know. And then as you hear comments and as you hear more from your constituents and otherwise, we'll continue to workshop this. That's what I have. We are prepared to talk on any topic you'd like.
Thank you. Any questions from Councilmember Boatley?
We did hear extensively from some folks earlier this evening, and I know that we had LISC, come and visit, and I believe we're all on the same page for what the audience was requesting and what we're putting forward. Can you remind me if we are on the same page or if there's anything different that maybe we need to look at?
Yeah, I think so. So we have been working with LISC, Connect Casino Road, the Housing Consortium, and some partners on an affordable housing work plan and an economic development framework for Casino Road over the past 4 years, I think. Some of this started as a result of the light rail and the planning for it getting into high gear and the concerns around the displacement there, but also from the comprehensive plan. It's been a long road and many meetings and lots of discussions and lots of input that we've taken into the comprehensive plan. But most recently, there is a memo that future-wise, came into this in the last couple of months, that they have laid out a series of requests. We did incorporate basically all of those into this review draft. There are a couple that I can go over that are not. I think we should get you a copy of the full memo so that you can see the context around it, and we'll get that to the Planning Commission as well. I will say that when we very first started this project, everything I think was centered on housing. So where we started is where we continue to be. That was one of the kind of core questions of the Planning Commission at one of their last meetings was, in total, do you think this is moving the needle on affordable housing? And the answer was that I think that it does. It is definitely complicated and there are many actors in it and the city can only do so much. But I think we have taken a major step forward to try to mitigate displacement pressure in the Casino Road neighborhood and to facilitate and encourage affordable housing and housing at all price points throughout the city. It is housing, both affordable and quantity and quality and all the rest. A couple of the key points relative to the Casino Road discussion include the inclusionary housing. So that is included. You will find a policy in the housing element that says implement inclusionary housing in areas of the city facing displacement risk, is a paraphrase of that policy. And then in the development regulations, look for chapter 19.09, and there is a section called inclusionary housing, I believe. It's about a page long and it includes the specifics of what the program would be. As proposed, it would apply to an area centered on Casino Road and Evergreen Way, stretching from roughly 100th up to SR 526, with a little area up to 75th and Evergreen Way, and then another small area around Airport Road and Evergreen Way. Both of those were overlaying the high displacement risk map from Puget Sound Regional Council, with where we have expected light rail stations, which is expected to add affordability challenges or development pressure or new interest for people to move in and some more pressure on existing residents. So that's the location, and within that location, housing development would be required to include, thank you, Allison, the county is also implementing it to the south, so that Airport Road node matches where the county would include theirs. Our program is, yes.
I'm envisioning when you said those placements, mostly businesses, and so that reminded me, is there any not inclusionary, but anti-displacement stuff for business? That's not really what.
So I've actually been in discussion with the Housing Authority, Everett Housing Authority and the HASCO, is the county, Snohomish County Housing Authority on this, and other housing developers, because we have housing developers, they focus on this for housing, but we really don't have the same tools for commercial space. And we're fortunate in that we're the end of the line in light rail. So that we have more time than the rest of the system has had to try to figure this out. But it is a major concern. And so what we need is, I got a verbal commitment from one of those team members that I just referenced to buy property such as Casino Square and hold it until we figure out how to do it. Because there's not very good tools for developing or for creating permanently affordable commercial space as a government entity.
I appreciate that.
We don't necessarily have the tools, but we did put policies in the economic development section about legacy businesses and legacy areas. So we did include it in that too. So it wasn't just housing.
Both of those are what I wanted to hear.
Thank you.
There
Any other
are-
questions? Sorry? Yeah. Councilmember Bader?
Thanks, Council President. York, I had one I don't think we covered here, but and I had not heard back, so don't necessarily need to hear back now, but concern raised about the Norton Grand historic overlay and the stepping there. So at some point, if you can get back to me on that question that's been
Yes.
raised, that'd be great.
We did a review, and this was Allison primarily working with the Historical Commission. We did a review of all of the historic overlays, and our intent had not been to increase the development capacity in those and to create a risk of losing historic structures. There was some rounding type things that may not have been significant except in a historic area. So we did in this draft, I think it is in this draft. I think most of them should have done that. So we'll get a close look at each of the historic areas. We also reduced some of the heights adjacent, but right outside of it, Norton Grand and along Rucker, for example, is one where I think, can you remember what those were?
Yes. We have been, as Councilmember Ryan can attest to, we have been going through each of those maps with the Historical Commission like a fine tooth comb. And we have revised all of them. For me to say categorically that it's in this particular printout, I cannot remember because it's been literally a work in progress up until, and it might be in there, I just don't know.
I think it mostly is, we've been hearing a lot from the Historical Commission. They're great. They're very protective of the historic resources. So sometimes at meetings, sometimes after meetings, sometimes.
I mean, we have an agreement, we have worked it all out, whether it's in the map, in the document that you have in front of you, I can't say for sure.
I think it is, and we'll get an accounting for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Ryan.
I can attest to the detail-oriented nature of the Historic Commission. They're doing a great job. For the anti-displacement work, you had mentioned that there was that there was a map of the inclusionary zoning as it relates to anti-displacement or areas where there is a high risk for anti-displacement. Is there a map included that has a more granular level of an overlay so that we could see block by block, like where specifically those inclusionary zoning areas would be?
We have the map you'll find it in chapter 1909. There is a map that shows where, at least under this proposal, inclusionary zoning would be included. The PSRC displacement risk map, I think when we get you the FutureWise and company memo, I think that has a copy of it, but PSRC has an interactive web map that explains how it got that designation. And much of South Everett is in the high category, meaning region-wide, it's in the highest tier of relative to other census tracts within the region of the indicators of displacement risk. So we can get you both, and I think we could even put one on top of each other. We did not capture the whole displacement risk area. Census tracts are relatively broad. It has been an interesting inquiry where Casino Road is. I know, and this has come up before. I know where Casino Road is, but somebody today mentioned South Casino as an area. So it's always interesting if you're looking to protect a community. Where is that community? I think we drew the line with that in mind as one of the big reasons for this is that there is a cohesive community that is centered on a place, and that's what we were trying to grab.
So then would the inclusionary zoning just be for the high risk areas?
It is, it's not for all of it, because the high risk area is most of South Everett, and there's some in North Everett as well. South Everett had the intersection of the high displacement risk, the strong community that we've been working with, and the pending light rail investments. So that was the intersection that that we worked with, but again, pencil so far.
I guess my question is more, did PSRC designate like a high, medium, and low risk, or is it just
Yes,
high and
I think
that's
there's
it?
those 3 tiers, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Councilmember Fossey, I know you didn't raise your hand, but I just want to check in to see.
No, and I appreciate the team doing the updates for Williams Hollow, though. Thank you for doing that.
Right. Thank you. Okay, Angie, do we have public comment?
Yes, we do. So we'll start with Jasmine. If you could please come to the podium. And please state your full name, city of residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jasmine Smith. I am the Director of Local Advocacy for FutureWise, and really excited to talk to you all today about some of the work, but I'm more excited about all of the work that's gone to have community members be able to speak. And I can't say anything close to what has been already shared. And so I'm really glad that that's been reflected in the record as well. I've been lucky enough to work on community outreach with the Connect Casino Road team, LISC, the Housing Consortium, and the Enabling Committee to look at how we can include more voices and build an Everett for everyone. So we've held workshops and outreach events over the summer and the fall. We've worked to translate that to communities or to city staff and connect the needs of community members to the comprehensive plan. The biggest issues we heard about were the cost of housing and affordability, the need for a variety of housing types to meet the needs of families as much as individuals, and providing protections to ensure that neither neighbors nor neighborhood businesses risk displacement. And as has been mentioned, we have that memo that I can also send, and you will be sending as well. And that'll outline in more detail some of the issues that we've heard about, but also the recommendations that we've provided. But the core recommendations come down to inclusionary zoning, as we've talked about already, the strong proposals around corner stores and having multiple approaches to housing affordability and affordable housing for a diversity of housing types and sizes, and for homeowners as much as renters, so that everyone has the opportunity to be as invested in their community as their community has invested in them. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next, if Jeanette could please come to the podium. Please state your full name and city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
And do I have to? Oh, no, never mind. Good evening, and thank you for letting me speak this evening. The Everett 2044 Comprehensive Plan, which is on your agenda this evening, on page 21 of that plan, it states, the growth strategy for Everett is, and there are 3 points. The one point that I'm quite interested in talking about is allows a wider range of housing types to support people in many different types of households and at all stages in life. I want to tell you about my type of housing. I live on 100th Street Southwest, and it is a 55+ mobile home park. We have 171 units with 260 residents in it. At the west end of our street is the entrance to Painfield. And of course, we're right around the corner from the Boeing plant. So our location within South Everett, we are going to be affected by the light rail. Like many seniors hoping to secure a safe and affordable retirement, I invested my savings in a manufactured home in a park. I am a proud homeowner. Just like any other homeowner, I have the responsibility of maintaining my home. We all rent our lot space for a monthly fee. 10 days ago, the Senate had a session, and one of the senators referenced what I pay for is the dirt below my home. So I thought that was appropriate. One of the nice things about our park is we have, and we're very proud that we have 30 veteran families. Our community provides opportunities for these veterans in connecting with a very active social life. Although sadly, 2 of our veterans died late last year, one of them being Herb Young. He was the last remaining veteran of World War II within our park. I want to take the opportunity to discuss the zoning overlay we desperately need over our mobile home park that I live in. My park, Fairway Estates, was owned by a family for over 30 years. We fell victim to a corporate investor, the Carlyle Group, buying up mom and pop communities in Western Washington. They now own 4 parks in Snohomish County alone. Last year, the Carlyle Group ripped the Band-Aid off. They took my rent, which was $850 for the dirt, and made it
Ma'am,
$1,665.
I'm gonna break in. You obviously have a lot more to say than your 3 minutes, so how about we just give you an extra time if you could just summarize what you have? I really want to hear.
Definitely do that.
Thank you.
Our goal is hopefully that you will consider overlay. We are quite concerned that this private equity firm is going to sell us to a developer, and we will then lose our place in Everett. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You come back.
Next, if Bobby could please come to the podium. Please state your full name and city residence. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Bobby Thompson, and I'm the Executive Director of the Housing Consortium of Everett and Snohomish County and a lifelong Everett resident. I'm grateful to be here tonight to share my thoughts on the community-driven feedback and recommendations for the city's comprehensive plan from the Casino Road neighborhood. In partnership with LISC, Puget Sound, and FutureWise, community feedback was gathered through deep and intentional engagement over the past year, which you heard tonight. This includes the Connect Casino Road Village Circle, a collaborative of social service providers based at the village at Casino Road, a community listening session attended by over 60 local residents, and several meetings with the Casino Road Affordable Housing Work Group, which includes affordable housing developers, community-based organizations, and public agency partners. We also reviewed previous community surveys and planning documents and partnered with City of Everett planning staff in working to identify best recommendation practices. Across all these efforts, we heard clearly and consistently from the community that the comprehensive plan must prioritize affordable housing options that meet the needs of working families, a range of housing types to support multi-generational households and diverse family structures, clean, safe, and well-maintained homes, shared amenities, and public spaces, safer, cleaner bus stops, and more frequent transit service, workforce training and entrepreneurship opportunities tailored to this community, and improved walkability to culturally relevant businesses and services. But most importantly, there was a strong and heartfelt desire to stay and improve Casino Road, not be displaced from it. In response, we urge the council to include the following recommendations that are in the plan that's been mentioned tonight: housing goals and policies that explicitly emphasize anti-displacement mapping designations for the Casino Road subarea directly related to the Puget Sound Regional Council, inclusionary zoning requirements in the subject subarea planning area, facilitated zoning use flexibility for affordable housing opportunities on faith-owned land, and corner store zoning criteria that reflect Casino Road's unique street grid in context. Without these proactive measures, future transit-oriented development and infrastructure investments risk accelerating gentrification and pushing out long-term residents. The North Star of these recommendations is to ensure that those who are already called Casino Road home are the ones who will benefit from TOD, creating a more vibrant, inclusive, and rooted community. You've heard tonight from others who live and work in the Casino Road neighborhood and echo these priorities. We ask that their voices and contributions were not only, that they're not only heard, but they can be truly valued as you shape the future of our city. Thank you for your time and your leadership.
Thank you. And that concludes our public comments.
Okay, that will be, so at this point, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Councilmember Bader, so moved.
Councilmember Ryan seconds.
Okay, motion seconds been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo,
We are voting to close. Yes.
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 Councilmember Fosse,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely,
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so moving on to item number 13. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was, so on our list, our memo here, there's the ready for council discussion portion. I would prefer to discuss this now, because I don't want to keep putting work on your guys' plate so close to the finish line. So I see Councilmember Bader has a couple things on here, so if you're ready to speak about it,
Okay, so we want council comments after it's closed. Okay, great. Thank you for that.
After it's publicly.
Yeah, the meetings, the public meetings. Closed. I'll start with Councilmember Bader.
Thanks, Council President. I'll term it council action. So there were there are several places you may recall that I identified looking at the map, at the zoning map, that looked like there was more than one step up in density between adjoining parcels. And I think our theory had been that would kind of wedding cake up. After talking to York, it seems several of those were understandable, or buffers that actually existed around some of the other areas, but the two that are listed on the sheet memo that York gave to us are ones that I don't think have that wedding cake aspect to it and don't have any buffers around it. So I don't know if most appropriately to move that the parcel known as 9300 West Mall Drive be moved from MU 15 to UR 7. It adjoins residential immediately
Next to it is neighborhood residential.
Correct. So I'll move them separately. So that'll be the first one I'd like to move to amend in the plan. Thanks.
Seconded.
Okay, I don't have anything here in front of me to look at or anything. So I mean, I appreciate the feedback. How do we want to proceed? Do we want to make a decision on something that we don't have? I mean,
If I can do this right, I can try to get
Okay,
up
perfect.
on,
Okay,
get it
good.
up on the screen here.
okay, thank you.
That was a big F.
I just did it
Did,
Nice.
already, but I don't have your map, but I just,
okay, and then Councilmember Bader, did you have another address too you want to give them so they can maybe perhaps, or they already have it? Oh, it's already on here.
just, I guess for context, this is the property. It's just this West Small Place apartment homes. And so
Okay,
here's the neighborhood residential folks that are on that side, and it's kind of the backside of
Okay.
these areas that are near Everett Mall, you might know, like Flying Squirrel and Half Price Books. So
Okay.
it's this parcel. And Yorick might be able to get his map up, but in the meantime, this probably gives you the context.
okay, thank you. I didn't realize we were going to have a discussion on these, but I'm glad we are, so thank you. Okay, so there's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Now that yes,
Okay, Councilmember Vogel.
now that we see the picture and know what you're talking about, can you say that again?
Sure. And hopefully York will correct me if I'm wrong, but so to the west, to the left there is what do we call now?
Neighborhood residential, which is middle housing and 3 floors.
3 floors limit right up against a proposed right now MU 15 parcel. And so trying to wedding cake it a little more by reducing that to UR 7. So I think it's built 7 stories. I think it's now like a 4 or 5-story building at the moment. So still some some chance for density, but not as dramatic, especially right next to it.
Any other comments on this one? Councilmember Ryan?
So then would that parking lot just south of there also be?
That's the police precinct.
Oh, okay.
We'll probably be up to the city council with that.
Okay. I'll stop talking.
Okay, thank you. All right, so any other comment about this parcel? Okay, I'm hearing none. We have a motion and second. Thank you, Councilmember Bader, for bringing this up. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely,
Sure, that's a yes.
Councilmember Tui,
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, okay, we have another one.
I'll speak to the second one.
Sure.
So this is the, in Southwest Everett, southwest corner of 100th Street, Southwest and Holly, and I'll wait for them to bring it up.
It's not letting me share. Oh, good.
Actually, I'll quickly move. And I don't know if I can get a second here. I think Councilmember Zarlingo might second this one. Southwest corner of 100th Street and Holly Drive to move to UR7 to UR4, and then I'll speak to it. So I'll move that.
And I second.
Okay, we have motion and second discussion.
So, so again, this one is you are up against UR4 and it's, what is it? UR7 right now. And it's across, so that there are, to the east of it is Holly Drive and to the north is 100th Street. And I think those are more solid boundaries for this area. The left or the west boundary there is just a property line. In it, you know, you can see it's right up against neighborhood residential and other UR4. So just given that there's this hard boundary of Holly Drive and 100th Street there, I thought that would be a more appropriate to have that little parcel there continue to be UR4, especially as it's up against neighborhood residential.
Oh,
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Vogely.
I drive here all the time. And so what I'm picturing is not orange and yellow, but there's the possibility of the future. I don't know if it's going to be a roundabout, but there is change with the streets. And so, and on all of those corners, because it's like a 5-corner thing, sort of. I just don't see the point in changing it because there's like I don't see the point yet. I need to be convinced or given more of an idea. Maybe I'm not thinking exactly where it could be built because it's 100th and Holly. And that's apartments, some single families, the methadone clinic, along with other things like Letty, and then a few right next to the Olin Fields, but there's like 3 houses there. So what would need to change? All of those things are pretty short, and I know that we're talking about heights and everything, but it's
the property in question is this triangle here. So it is a developed property with apartments, and it's actually the same. It goes across Holly, right?
okay. That is so much better for me to see now.
Yeah, Newport Cove.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's that
Yeah.
Holly side of it.
I know where okay. So it's not just the little teeny triangle. There's so many triangles. It's a much larger triangle than I was envisioning. Okay. So you want it to go from UR7 to UR4?
Correct, to match the parcel, most of the parcel immediately to the west, and some of the parcel immediately to the west is neighborhood residential as well, and as well as the north side.
Okay. Can I see the picture again?
Thanks.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
The photograph. There we go. Okay.
What is it currently zoned? 3 stories?
Current height map. It is zoned 4 to 6, so 6 stories now.
Which was why it was 7.
Right.
Okay. Right, any more discussion on this one? Okay, hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan,
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely,
Yes.
Councilmember Tui,
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Okay, moving on to neighborhood commercial locations. I'm assuming that we want to have discussion on that. Yes, Councilmember Ryan.
Great. I'm supportive of the plan as it was drafted in our comp plan draft. It was supported by staff. I believe the planning commission reviewed it as well. It's gone through a number of other commission and public input sessions. And so I would support not adding any amendments to it. I think as drafted in the comp plan, I think it's adequate and and it's also in line with the spirit of neighborhood commercial businesses across all of Everett. So that's my.
So would you
input.
not need to take any action at this point, or? It's a question I have.
I think we might all have a different view on what we would like to see. So I just wanted to share mine. with
Okay,
you.
are you maybe requesting like maybe some more detail in a further meeting so we know
I
exactly what?
don't, staff appreciates hearing Councilmember Ryan's position on it. Her position doesn't require action. It's
Okay.
what's in the documents you guys have.
Right.
But as she pointed out, there might be others that have a different path.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, any other discussion on this one? Yeah, Councilmember Bader.
Thanks. I hate to admit genesis of another one here, but the neighborhood commercial, I like the idea. What really is concerning to me is the potential parking impact. I mean, we all know there'll be people who will not just walk to neighborhood commercial, but will drive 1 or 2 blocks there. And I'm concerned about the impact on the neighboring residences of neighborhood commercial. If there was a way to mitigate that and still accommodate the neighborhood commercial, I'd be supportive, but short of some kind of, probably challenging commercial some challenging permit parking process. I don't know what that would be. And so I'm just very concerned we're opening up something here that is going to lead to significant complaints coming to us from neighbors about this. And that's why my proposal was to restrict neighborhood commercial to arterials of all kinds, all the way down from collector to major arterials, which obviously already are commercial, because I thought the arterials were better placed and built to handle additional parking that neighborhood commercial might drive. And I think my last conversation with York, there was some concern about a few roads that appeared to be arterial, but had not been listed. 100th Street Northwest or Southwest, as we notably have talked about, is apparently not a arterial, which I think has all the aspects of it. Walnut, that I live on, is not listed as an arterial, even a minor arterial, and it sure looks like it. So anyhow, so my proposal would be to restrict the neighborhood commercial locations to only roads that are arterials, but potentially with that inclusion of a couple other streets that have been mentioned. So York, maybe if I can ask York where that is, because I think you had been going to the transportation, one of our other departments to get clarity on it.
Have not heard back yet on, I guess, why 100th. There's a couple of roads that maybe most people consider to be minor arterials, at least aren't on that list. I think if we did want to go this direction and there were some roads that seemed appropriate that weren't listed technically in our functional classifications as arterials, we could just add them by name.
There is an issue though with the arterials. Many of them do not have parking on them. So they do not permit parking, whereas on the neighborhood streets or on the corners, those could accommodate some parking. But if you're looking at arterials, there is no parking, so they're all going to park in the neighborhood in order to get to the place on the corner.
Good point. I just think there's some expectation if you're living on an arterial of more. I mean, certainly I anticipate more impact living on an arterial. I mean, for me, again, it's about the parking, and I'm just, we already get some parking complaints. I envision this opening up even more and anyhow, if we can mitigate that in some way, I would be supportive of this, but until there's some scheme to mitigate that, I'm looking to do something different.
Councilmember Zarlingo.
I support Councilmember Bader's concerns about this, also concerns about light and noise and the expectations in those neighborhoods. I think in a lot of cases, it won't make sense to put some of these stores right in the middle of those neighborhoods either, but I don't want to open the door until we understand this better. I think this is one of those things where we can add these opportunities for these neighborhood stores, but the range of possible neighborhood stores, and as I've mentioned before, the energy and innovation of a lot of our entrepreneurs in this area. I'd like to see where that goes a little bit. We can always, as a council, then modify this ordinance and and the implications later. So I would rather take progressive steps in this as opposed to being either feeling at this point or some point in the near future, we have to do a bunch of specific regulations. Then we get into difficulties with code compliance and enforcing code compliance. And that's the thorny kind of stuff that we don't have a ton of resources to do. So I think I understand the charm of your neighborhood bodega, but also the things that sometimes tend to be profitable enough to keep stores going are not quite so charming. And so my concern there is that I think I'd much rather take a progressive approach here and then evolve this as we see what kinds of things commercially make sense and what kinds of things are compatible with the neighborhoods.
Councilmember Fosse.
Thank you, President Schwab. With all due respect, I think it's a little bit more than just the charm of your neighborhood bodega. I mean, we're in a food desert. And I feel like my neighbors would be a little bit okay with having somewhere to eat or more amenities in their community, even if there was a few extra cars parking on the street or in the community, because this is what they've been asking for years. Every time it gets taken out by another development or something else, and we lose another amenity, I think that kind of trumps the concern about parking is when you have no amenities for the community and it's not a livable, walkable area. So I wouldn't be supportive of restricting that and restricting business furthermore.
Mayor, did you?
I was just thinking that I think this is a solvable problem. I think everybody on the council kind of wants similar things, and it might be worthy to have a committee have a more in-depth presentation, like probably what you delivered and debated in the planning commission that approved this, so that there's just a little bit more thorough understanding of where and how and what this would look like. I think it's one of those topics that can drive a lot of fear when, all neighborhoods can, have ADUs now, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, we can have thousands and thousands of ADUs in the community. And really it's just a couple here and there. And so I think just understanding it a little bit would probably help. And there might be some parking mitigation or different tools that we can explore on the staff side too. So I might suggest that rather than voting this in or out tonight, that you do a little bit more work together with the team if we have the time to do that. So I think it's an important one.
When is our next build out committee?
The Parks and Built Environment
Committee.
Committee might not be the best vehicle because unless you had a special meeting, which you totally could.
Yes.
Their next meeting is the night of or just before the start of the
Okay, we'll work with with your office and with council members, and we'll schedule something very specific for the subject, or we could make it early council meeting. We'll work on that. Okay. Okay, great. All right. Thank you. Thanks for the discussion there. I'm glad you brought it up earlier.
I would just like to add one thing before we close. Alberto Vasquez is here and he has done yeoman's work in reaching out to the Casino Road community and has been a huge asset in building the bridges and the relationships. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we really appreciate everything he's done and continues to do.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for the presentation. And so, all right. So moving on now to our final action item there, item number 13. Council Bill 2503-22, third and final reading, adopt an ordinance approving the appropriations of the 2025 revised City of Everett budget and amending ordinance number 4055-24, including $600,000 for the multipurpose stadium. Do we have a motion?
Councilmember Bader, so moved.
Second. We have motion and second. Are there any discussion or questions? Councilmember Tui.
Yeah, well, I just want to thank everyone for putting this additional funding of 600,000 for the stadium project on the agenda as opposed to just leaving it inside the budget amendment. This is a huge project for the city, and we must ensure that we are transparent all along the way. So stadium action should not be in the consent or embedded with other action items. And it does trouble me that I still have continued concerns about the lack of reliable financial information related to the stadium. It troubles me that this council is being asked to shoulder the financial consequences of a process that has still yet to provide those costs and how we will pay for it and the operating plan. I do appreciate the timeline for future council actions. Thank you, Scott, for you provided us last week. I do ask that if you can include the financial information updates on a timeline would be helpful. And in May and June, we are scheduled for the funding ordinance on the progressive design build and property acquisitions. And I just hope that we can have the financials by then to understand how that will all be paid for. And I just want to say, I do want the Aqua Sox to remain in Everett, but that does not mean we should keep moving forward without financial accountability. I will be supporting the budget amendment as it includes a lot of things that I support that are very important. And I know it's important to move these things forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just add, we will obviously continue to provide as much financial information as we can, but as you all know, the progressive design build process is a tool to help us right scale the project and reduce the cost as much as possible, to set the stage for turn down the dials everywhere we can to build the most affordable process. And we will not know the cost of the stadium until the end of that design process is in place. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
She's excused.
Yes. Yes. Sorry. Councilmember Bader.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, and with no further action, meeting's adjourned.